Greetings all, this is Zia from the Everfrost server. This is going to be a tutorial on the Wurmsbone in advanced solo run, also a speed run, meaning we're going to bypass most of the trash, most of the bosses, and basically just go for the end boss as fast as possible for the 3 chest chances for Fables and for the super rare chance of a Ethereal. This is my main character, Zeath, an SK on the Everfrost server. Currently we're in Jurassic Race just outside, so let's go in and we'll get started here, and I'll go over some of the things I do to make this run as fast and easy as possible. We're going to be doing this on an SK, an Inquisitor, and a Monk, just to show a few different classes. But the first thing I do is target myself. That way if I have to feign death, I can just hit it. I don't get the error, this is not a friend, etc. I also make sure that I am on a ground mount, such as my Warhog here, to get the 135% ground speed instead of my normal flying mount, which is only 75% ground speed. Some of the tools we'll be using on the SK here is Aura of the Crusader, which will remove stuns and roots and also make us immune to it for a short duration. Feign Death, just because there's certain points you might be taking too much damage, or there's a certain roaming boss that can cause issues once in a while. And just in case for a backup, I also have a defibrillating heart stopper, which will give me a second feign death. And that's basically it. I'll explain some things as we run along, but here we go. But basically, again, we're going to skip all the trash as much as possible. Use Aura of the Crusader to get rid of stuns and roots, and feign death to clear some aggro and get past certain bosses. You might get stunned or rooted based on luck, your gear, how much resist you have, etc. But I believe it can be done pretty easily by most classes that can either cure a lot or can feign death. There's the first boss that usually can give me some problems. Every once in a while he likes to teleport me halfway through a floor, and when I get up I fall through the world. So a lot of times I'll just feign death after him, but since no issues there, we'll feign death up here. Make sure they all go away. Get up, and since I'm a Barbarian SK, I have Bind Wounds. Just do that real quick and continue our run. This is another trouble spot where if you get stunned or rooted while you get popped up in the air here, you can fall off. And that boss we just passed likes to teleport you in the middle. But we're actually getting quite lucky with the stuns and roots on this run. Not too many of them. And we're almost to the home stretch. But the main thing to keep in mind when you're making this run is you don't want to be put in the combat, because obviously that'll just slow you down. You lose your ground mount speed. You don't want that. Just keep on going. If you can, cure, feign death, whatever you need to. Any class can use these heart stoppers. Doesn't matter about level or race, class. They can be made by a tinkerer. You can find them on the broker for generally pretty cheap. And we're going to skip all this. And we are actually going to kill these two guys right here in front of this skull. Because if you do, this will be a respawn point in case you die during the last boss fight. Which, you never know. You might one-shot you, you might get unlucky with a fear, etc. So I find it best just to always have it that way. If I do die, I don't have to make that entire run again. But, doesn't matter which path you take, left or right, goes the same place. Little mouse screw up there. Alright, now all the trash is done. This is the guy we're going for. He has a normal and hard mode. When you get him to about 80 to 85%, depending on how fast you DPS him, he'll start gathering darkness, which indicates he's going to start his challenge mode. If you click on him while he's doing that, he'll stay in normal mode. If you let him go through it, he'll go to challenge mode. If you kill him in challenge mode, you get 3 chests. If you kill him in normal, you only get the 1. So we're going for the challenge mode. And also of note is that this is an advanced solo, so you can bust out your merc like I'm going to do here. And when I have my merc out, this Templar here, I put him on passive initially. That way he doesn't fight the mob or anything. I'll also put some more avoidance on him, and that'll buff me a little bit. And also of note is these are the gems that I only collect. The Fragment of Subversion, which does 30% damage to the mob. If I don't need to use it, I won't. I generally save them, but if things get a little hairy, I might use it. Also of note is that since this is an advanced solo, you can bring in another player and basically group have two people in here, so that might make the fight easier. And the benefit of that is that you each get a set of 3 chests. So I'll get one, and if I brought in a friend, they would get their own 3, and it's basically free loot at that point. One person makes the run, and then when you're here at this point, you just have the person either COV, call the Tinkerer, or use a racial ability or whatnot, and they can come right here. So here we go. We're going to start this off, get them to 80 to 85%. I don't use any of my big abilities like Harm Touch, Chaos Cloud, or anything like that. See, he's gathering darkness, so I back off. Put the Merc on assist, and just wait for him to come through. We're in challenge mode now. And I try to get my Merc on the backside of him, that way he doesn't need any frontal attacks, etc. And we're basically just going to fight him like normal at this point. I try to keep him knocked down as often as I can. Try to save my abilities that heal like Harm Touch and Chaotic Blade for when I get low on health. Keep my shield up and just keep going. At some point, he will probably port my Merc to the same side as me, at which point, nope, not this time, Merc's dead. So we'll use some cover our butt abilities, such as Riposte, and just keep going here. Shouldn't be too hard. And again, if it gets really bad, he's at 37, I could use one of these red gems and just kill him. Up, fear. Break that for the Crusader. Alright, we're back up to full. And we'll just keep going here. Keep the shields up. Just keep DPSing him, knocking him down. And it's not too hard. He's at 4%, 3, 1, Harm Touch him, and he's dead. And as we see, 3 chests, plus a gem. Again, I only collect the red ones. And usually get a self-repair kit, a research, a builder's adornment thing, which vendor loot from I consider it, and adornment books, etc. And you generally get an item or two. So we got a wrist, research reducer, a recipe, a belt, and another reducer. Not too bad. And then obviously you can take the portal back, and this instance resets every hour and a half if you want, so you can run this quite often. And it's a good place to farm research reducers to try to build masters, etc. And that's it. I'll see you next time on the Inquisitor. Alright, welcome back. This is Zeeth. We're going to be doing this run on my Inquisitor here. Now, the main point I find with the Inquisitor to make this run is that it really helps a lot to have your epic repercussions done for the Inquisitor, so you get cleansing of the soul, which will make this run a lot easier. As normal, I'm targeting myself. I need to put on my ground speed mount. That way I get the faster run speed. And also, just to show you, we also have our heart stoppers just in case. And we'll make the same run. So here we go. I actually find this run to be a lot easier on the Inquisitor than on the SK, just because she gets so many cures. I also find it a lot easier to do the boss on the Inquisitor because of the heals. She usually doesn't need a Merc or etc., but you never know. There's all kinds of random things, or luck base, roll the dice, whatever, that can affect it. But with the Inquisitor, I generally use Cleansing of the Soul quite often, just because it's such a pardon me, such a low cooldown, and also because it heals. But as we see, that roaming boss put me in the combat, so I use my Heart Stopper. Just get out of it, get back up, and we'll keep running. It'll basically be the same thing. I'm just doing this on a few different tunes just to show that it can be done by different tunes, not just an SK. And, oh, rooted. And this boss put me in the combat as well. So we're going to have to keep going here. If you run far enough away from him, you get taken out of it. He's got a short leash, and you see we're out of combat. And almost there. And we'll do the same thing with the two guys in front of the skull. Kill them, just so that we'll make it a respawn point, because if you don't, it won't be a respawn point, and if you die during the final boss fight, you have to make this entire run again. And who wants to do that? Alright. Root. Gone. And some people might be thinking, you don't know how to play this Inquisitor. It's probably true. I don't. This is just an ult that I don't play very much. She's generally just been doing these speedruns for me. Alright. And just in case people are wondering, she does have a few red gems. I don't kill the bosses in this zone because they only drop gems. If I want to farm them, I generally do it on the Dread Cutter or the jungle instances. It's a lot easier to farm them and they're a lot quicker. Alright. Okay, trash is done. Again, at this point, you can take out a merc if you need to, or bring in a friend, have them COV, call the Tinker, etc., and they can come here and help you out. But since I'm just doing this video, it's just me. So what I'll do is I'll put a ward on myself real quick. And again, we'll get this guy to 85%. Alright, there he goes. Gathering darkness, so we'll back off just so we don't get hit by explosions. Or rebuff ourselves with some wards. He feared me. Redo the wards. And just do the fight. My Inquisitor set up to do mostly melee damage. She's got the 600 multi-attack, etc. So I just melee him, keep throwing wards up every once in a while. And when he does a fear, if my cooldown's up, I'll break the fear. AoE to get rid of the snakes. But this is pretty much an easy fight with the Inquisitor just because of the wards. They can do some decent melee DPS if you have enough gear and your respect for it. Another AoE. Fear, so break it. And stopping me. There we go. And there you go. You see the snakes drop chests. I've seen them drop small chests, normal treasure chests, generally spells or crafting books, is from what I've seen. Alright. Treasure chest. And we're almost done. He's at 39%. But I find with this fight, it's actually pretty easy. Just melee him, throw up a couple wards, and break fear when it happens, if it happens. It might take a little bit longer than the SK, but... Oh, sorry. There we go. Alright. Got a little low there, so use the Save My Butt ability. Use Verdict. And he's dead. Get rid of the body. There we go, 3 chests. Red a gem, so we'll keep that. Earring. Crappy totem. Nothing good this time. But, again, you can reset this every hour and a half. Come in here, get 3 chests, or if you bring another friend with you, they can get 3 chests as well. So if you have a toon that can't make this run, but you know someone else that can, you might ask to get in on theirs. Doesn't matter for anything. You're each going to get 3 chests, so why not? So the next video, what we'll do is I'll have my monk, and we'll show you that way. And we'll see you then. Back. This is, again, Zeath, and this time we're on my monk. He's going to make the speed run for us. He's going to have to use a merc at the end. I'm not quite good enough with the monk, geared enough, etc. to do it just by himself. But again, we're going to target ourselves, make sure our mount's a ground mount, etc. You can also check it up here. There it is. Called the wolf. And with the monk, since he only gets that 1 cure and it's a long cooldown, we're going to be feign deathing a lot. But that's fine. It still makes the run a lot faster than killing all the trash and going through every boss. So here we go. And again, this monk is just an alt, so if I don't appear as good as most people that play a monk, it's because I don't play this one very often. This is a stun, it only lasts a few seconds, so just feign death, pop back up. And if we're lucky, we won't get hit as much. I guess we're not going to get lucky, but we'll see what happens. If you get lucky, you don't get stunned or rooted enough on the... We can make this run pretty quick on the monk. But as I said, it'll still be faster than fighting all the trash. But maybe not this time. Every few steps we're getting hit. And I don't want to use my cure because I'd like to save it for a root. Alright. And also, again, with the monk also has a bind wound, so if we get in too much trouble with the health, we can just pop up, use it, and as you saw, the wandering boss just despawned. There's our root. And cured it and get rid of it. They got rid of the dot, sadly. So we just gotta wait a few seconds. There we go. Dangerous part. Yeah, this part is probably the most dangerous that I've seen, because if you make this go past this ramp here, while you pop up just like that, you can get rooted in midair and can't change your direction, and you'll fall straight down. I've also seen it where this boss here, All Blocker, will teleport you and basically get you somewhere around here and knock you off. But it shouldn't be too big of a deal. Stun. Feign death. He teleports away. There we go. Alright. Getting almost to the home stretch. So even with all those stuns in the route, it still wasn't that bad for time-wise. But out of the three characters I do this run with, the SK, the Inquisitor, and the monk is the most iffy. He has more chances to die, I found. And again, that's most likely because I probably don't have him spec'd correctly. He's also not my main that I play a lot. He basically just does this run for me. But since we're on the monk, we're going to run up here, feign death just to get rid of that guy. Get back up. And kill the trash for the respawn point. Alright. But yeah, I definitely like doing this run just for the chance for Fabled gear. Also for the spell research reducers. Helps a lot getting masters quick without having to use the SC currency. And you can get some really nice Fabled gear like this chest piece. I think he has a helm, bracers, gloves, pants, and boots. Although I think some of that was Sky Shrine. Maybe not. Oh well. Anyway. So, as I said with the monk, we need to bring out our mercenary. I'm just not quite good enough with him yet. So I'll put the mercenary, pardon me, on passive. Do our avoidance buff. And here we go. And again, I keep the mercenary on passive for this first bit, just so he doesn't continue to attack the mob. 80%, so back off, put him on assist. And I'll just get my ranged weapon ready. Alright. And again, try to get the merc behind the end boss here. And with the monk, I'll just DPS and use quite a bit of save your ass abilities. So far it's going pretty good. Uh-oh. Mercenaries down. I'm low. And sadly, the monk here does not have any red gems on him. So I will use one of these green ones that give me some health. But we should still be able to do it. Yeah, 5%. Plenty of health to make it through. And there we go. Alright, and spell. Nothing on him. Blue gems, which give you power. Bleh. Alright, let's see what we got. Research and claws, and research and claws. 3 freaking claws. But you can see here, I've done it quite a bit. Here's a couple of fables I've gotten the last couple runs on the monk. Some tank plate and Inquisitor gloves. And just check around for the area just to make sure there's no shinies. Nothing. So all I'll do is zone out, camp them, go about do my business, doing something else, dungeons, whatnot, helping guildies, and that'll be it. Thanks for watching.